Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I interviewed a pro Minecraft trapper to learn how to create my own unique Minecraft traps. In this talk, we're going to cover what to think about when creating and improving traps. We're going to showcase 3 different ones for you guys to use as inspiration, which are the honey slab trap, the vine trap, and the fake AFK obsidian trap. And now, without further ado, let's get into the interview. All right, let's get started. In the previous interviews with Judlo, Doomcow, and Shadow, we covered various complexities of traps in terms of redstone, and you mentioned to me that you design traps based on niche Minecraft mechanics. Could you go through some examples of that?
Yeah, of course. So this is more of how I would trap in 1.8 because you could get away with silly mechanics. But yeah, on my channel, I have a trap called the vine trap where you dangle a vine like in midair and you pretend you're like climbing up it where there's a wall behind it. But when the enemy player like tries to climb it, they walk through and fall in. What I'll do is I'll like mess around with blocks and whatnot, and I'll like figure out like strange mechanics about them, right? And then once I find something that like not a lot of people would know, I would ask myself like, how do I turn this into a trap? A while back, I also figured out that you can put a slab on top of a honey, and that like property of the honey where you can't jump on it still applies, and you can turn that into like a parkour jump that's supposed to look possible, like very easy, but it becomes actually impossible because of the honey that's hidden underneath the slab. And I think like once you find stuff like that, you can turn it into a really cool trap that like people really like to see because it's based on a Minecraft mechanic that they've never seen before.
Yeah, no, that's great. Could you expand on like other traps that you make besides like the honey block or the vine trap? Are there like, you know, what redstone do you use? Like, you know, minimal redstone? Do you focus on like the gimmick itself? Like, could you just speak on like what you look for in like a game?
I'm not that big on the whole redstone stuff like Shadow is. He loves to like figure out all those computational stuff. But like I like to focus my traps more on an imaginative scenario. So I haven't released this trap yet, but there's a AFK trap that I do where I sit by like 2 cobble walls, and when they jump down, I obby them. But obviously not everyone's gonna fall for that, and they're gonna see a player that's doing like an AFK trap, so they're gonna dig on it. Well, I'm standing on a pit of gravel, and when they dig down onto the gravel, I'm gonna spleef that trap, and then they that's like the real trap. But like stuff like that where you like try to pretend where it's something else, like a fake trap, those are good scenario traps. I've also thought of like there's definitely a trap where you like hide at a portal and pull some pistons underneath that. That's also a good trap.
Okay, so it's like you have a situation and then you predict what someone would think to do when like realizing it's a trap, and then capitalizing on that and predicting their movement. No, I like that. I like that strategy for sure.
So this is a
setup.
This is a strange example that you probably would never actually want to use in a game, but it shows off the mechanics.
What do you mean, bro? Like everyone would fall for this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I guess we'll say that we'll pretend that there's some random bridge here. Yeah. You have this like platform of slabs, blends in with the wood, right?
Yeah.
You're not thinking too much about the bridge, and then all of a sudden you try to make this jump. Boom. The reason is the honey actually, if you walk on just honey itself, you'll see you get slowed down and you like cannot jump. It actually like sticks you to the slab, and that property still applies even when you're on top of a slab, and so you can't make this really simple looking jump. It's like 99% impossible.
Yeah.
Like no one's making this ever. But that's like the honey thing I was talking about. The vine, I guess I can. Let's see. We'll pretend this acacia tree is a jungle tree for now.
Nice.
We're gonna put some vines on it. All the way. You bring the vines all the way down to here, like that. And you break the support blocks behind it, and they'll start dangling like this. As long as you don't remove the top block, it stays there. And then you can you climb it by holding space.
Yeah.
Some people climb it, by when there's a block back here, and you pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah.
You like climb up like this, and you hold W, because that works too. And this was definitely more of a thing in 1.8 because you actually couldn't climb up vines by holding space, which is actually kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, all you did by then is you hide a little hole like this, and then they try to climb it then they fall down like that. It's really funny. They look stupid.
Yeah.
Also add like a little bonus wall, like really, you know, like
Yeah.
that. Boom. And now it's you literally like cannot climb it by holding W. So that was the vine trap. That was definitely like a funny trap that I went for, just like for the content and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I mean, if you're using this to win, I honestly gotta respect it. But like, you're not you're not gonna win every game.
I think for the culture, we could run it. I think.
Sometimes when the trap scene gets so like complicated that like going to something really stupid like that would never be a trap, right? Like you're like people are thinking, oh my gosh, I can't run in a straight line. Like who in their right mind would never chase anyone in a straight line? Only Hoplite players, because the trapping scene's so complicated. But like then they never think like, oh, a vine here would be a trap for some reason, you know?
Yeah.
So like it might work in our favor. That's what I've noticed.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But what was the
gravel
third?
pole?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so this was an AFK trap, but we can obviously remix it to be something else. So I like basically would hide down here.
This is such a crazy fake cave, like with the ores and the diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the anti-X-ray.
Yeah.
Well, and then we can like. So I pretend I'd stand like right here, right? And then some people jump down there, get obbied, but the smarter players would dig down over here, and then I would stand on gravel. Let me grab it, like a gravel platform back here, and then I like break it down here, and the whole thing like goes away. And it's actually like a really good trap, but we can like change it so that maybe it's like some like broken redstone trap or something like that.
Yeah. If you guys seem a bit confused because this explanation was a bit rushed, do not worry. There's a video in the description made by Parker about the automatic Obsidian AFK trap. So if you want to check that out, please feel free to. But the idea that we want to tell you is that you could bait people into thinking you're AFK and then either trap them into a hole or obby trap them, or you know, all the different methods throughout this series that we talked about to trap people and kill them. But that video doesn't cover the gravel falling aspect that we talked about earlier in the interview. But that video is coming, and gravel falling is pretty self-explanatory. It puts them into a hole and then you can kill them with funnels. Yeah, to continue off of that, I feel like an overlooked aspect of trapping is improving traps in terms of efficiency. Could you speak on why you decide to specialize in improving traps and what you look for when improving them? Is it time, resources, or complexity?
Generally, it's definitely time. A lot of people in my friend group, so I think a lot of people that you're like interviewing, so like me, Shadow, Cow, Veggie, definitely, and I think that'd be around it. But we all definitely like to just like we'll make a trap, but like we don't just stop there. We definitely like to play around the redstone, see what like makes it better, what makes you know. Shadow likes to go for like faster things, so like when the pull time's faster, when the track time's faster, stuff like that. I like to go for like more practical things, so I like to see like how it's easier to make in a certain way, or like if you can use non-redstone to make a trap better. Veggie also likes to do like similar improvements, and I don't see that much else anywhere. Definitely people on Hoplite I see are replicating traps like to the exact degree, and they're not like making the effort, I guess, to play around with the redstone and see like why it works the way it works, or like ways that you can implement your own redstone designs and improvement.
All right, let's go into game sense now. So my first question for you is, so how much time do you take looking for a spot in the trap? Like, what's your timeline looking like once you get off the dragon?
In this case, I feel like if you have a trap like that you're planning on making, I usually try to look for a spot around 5 to 6 minutes before PvP. So that's like, that gives me about 5 or 6 minutes of time to like land in a spot, like maybe loot a structure and go into a cave and get some iron. And obviously that doesn't happen every time. Definitely try to like look for a spot around 5 to 6 minutes. And then around like maybe, hopefully you'll find a spot in about 2 to 3 minutes. I'd spend like a little extra time looking for a spot, because like if it's too obvious, it's gonna obviously not work, and then you wasted your whole game. So I'd rather spend like a couple extra minutes making sure the spot's like good and it makes like practical sense to chase somebody up that spot. And then that leaves you with about a couple minutes left before PvP to make the trap. And then usually you want to be up and baiting around maybe 5 to 7 minutes after, because this number really depends on how many people are in the game, because it ends up being how fast deathmatch is going to start. If there's a lot of people, you can obviously take maybe some extra time if you really feel like making a backup or something like that. You can go for that too.
This next question might not really apply to you, but I guess sometimes you're baiting. Do you have any game sense tips early game, like regarding like who do you think would be a good candidate for the traps? So like who exactly you bait? Like let's just say like there's a mosh pit of people, right? Who do you exactly target in that?
Okay, so like in the sense that I'm trying to extract somebody or I'm trying to extract the entire team to like get towards me. If you're trapping, sometimes it's very obvious when you're like fighting, and then some like random iron pulls up and like slaps 2 of you and starts running away. Like it almost felt like a tap on the shoulder, and then they start running away. Like it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to really go for the risky bait and like get really low while fighting, because that's like the only way it really makes sense to run in some situations. But you really gotta like make sure you're almost like pretending to be a PvPer, and then you like gotta go for it. Sometimes like Jude does this a lot. You'll see this in his videos a lot. He likes to like, you know, pretend to be like just a god awful player. Like he's up there like spam clicking up like and then like not being able to do certain jobs, like his movement's so horrible, and that actually works too. If you can pretend to be a noob, that works as well. Definitely depends on like the gear that the opponent is wearing. So like if it's a full iron, like you might actually want to try to fight them, because it makes sense to fight them because they're not that stacked, and you're trying to get more stacked, right? And then in a PvPer's mindset, and then you bring them to the trap, and that's when you get them. If they're really stacked, you might want to like stand in the back, maybe try to get a few bow shots in. Maybe you can even have like a second teammate try to like 2v1 them, because then you'll think in a PvPer's mindset that you'll like actually try to get them as a 2v1, but then you like end up getting cooked, pretend to get cooked, and then you run to the trap and bait it and stuff like that. But it definitely is case by case. Obviously, I can't say one way applies every time.
All right, no, great. I would like to shift to just some personal questions now. And my first question is, how did you get into Hoplite, and what made you fall in love with the game?
I was a Hypixel player, and just like literally all of your favorite Hoplite YouTubers, Zova, even Speed Silver, Scott A. So many of these people have already played Hypixel, and so the transition to the 1.9 was it's literally same mindset carries over in terms of like playing the game in the game sense. But the only thing that changes is you have to time your clicks and a few other things, you know.
Yeah.
Can't use a rod, so yeah. I was the same way. Except when I joined Hoplite, the first thing I did was trap. Just because I've been trapping for so long at this point. Before this, like Hypixel was dead, and I had to resort to like cracked Minecraft servers that like managed to have a UHC on it. Like that was just full of noobs. I don't know what I was doing, but I did that for like a couple years, and then Hoplite came and like reintroduced basically a Hypixel UHC 2, and I fell in love with it instantly. And I started making traps, and I actually, funny story, my friend Veggie, we both like basically got on at the exact same time. We were waiting for the server to be released, and he was the one that actually convinced Speed Silver to add the trapper kit. Like it actually wasn't planned on going in, and then like Veggie like messages him saying, "Yo, it'd be a cool idea if there was a trapper." Yeah, and he's like, "You know what? That's a good idea." And I think
nice, bro.
Yeah, I think that's just like a cool story for that.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that, bro. Nah.
Maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah. No, that's true. No, that's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, I came from Hypixel too. I was Blitz SG, which is an even more dead game than Hoplite, believe it or not. So, you know, there we go. The transition was seamless, bro. I'm already professional at dead games, so. So yeah. All right. My next question was, what do you play besides Minecraft or Hoplite? Out of curiosity.
I'm gonna be honest. It's not a lot else. I played more of Fortnite last year, but it was more like just for fun. I also have Valorant, but I'm not good at it. I'm not good at a lot of gun games because I was actually just like not allowed to play a lot of games with guns for a long time. So
Oh
I just
wow.
got.
Okay.
I mean, it was probably longer than most, but I ended up liking Minecraft too much, and there's really no reason for me to switch over to a game when I already like this game. So
Yeah, no,
I
that makes sense.
play way too much of this.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. Yeah, no, cool. Obviously you've been playing Hoplite for a long time. Do you have a favorite milestone?
I'd say my most recent achievement was definitely the one I actually had like a focus for. Being a trapper, I don't really care about like the kills and like the win stats or whatever. I just like having a fun experience and
for sure.
trolling people. But last season, I had the random goal to become a Hoplite leaderboards player by trapping, mostly. And I honestly didn't go into it obviously thinking that it was gonna happen, but after I played for a little bit, I started realizing that I'm like winning a lot of games. Like I'm winning 7 or 8 out of 10 like of these games. I realized that I'm on the leaderboards, and so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go all the way in. I'm gonna make sure I'm really gonna try to get the Hoplite leaderboards by trapping. So I ended up doing it. I got number 2. My teammates were Minpin and Throughblock for the majority of it, and they got number 1. So Throughblock got number 1 for most wins that season, and Minpin shared second with me. We both had 140 wins by the end of the season, which is just
crazy,
insane. It's just insane.
All right, so besides that, I actually, this question probably wouldn't have the same answer, but what's your favorite memory?
If we're thinking trapping, I've definitely just had some insane trapping clips. A lot of them have already been posted on YouTube, either by me or by other people. I think it's just like the cool thing about Hoplite that's definitely different from Hypixel, is that I've definitely met a lot of more content creators, I guess. Other people in the space that are like actually interested in the game, whereas like Hypixel, like the biggest content creator I really ever did stuff with was like Veggie, and sometimes there's another guy named Absolutely Alpha. He was a big trapper back then, but it has moved on with real life stuff.
Tragedy, bro. Who would do that, right?
Yeah, but like quite literally in the past like 2 weeks, I've played with Speed Silver, Fruitberries, Bitzel, like these big names. Like that's just cool, right? Like just interacting with people that like definitely have a good influence on the game, and it's just like you'd never get that in any other case. Like you would never get that like in any other server, I feel like.
All right, you ready for the last question?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right. I mean, it's not too grand, but like, how's your YouTube content creation journey been, and where do you see yourself in the next year?
Oh boy, I definitely have slowed down making videos in the recent bits, but that's mostly due to college and whatnot. But in a year from now, maybe if I actually try to upload, which might happen, who knows? I might get like, with the YouTube rank being down to 10K, maybe that's a reasonable goal. That's a reasonable goal, right? Yeah. Maybe not in the next year, but maybe like 5,000. Who knows, right? Depends on how much I post, obviously. I definitely like to spend extra time on my videos. I like to make sure that they're not just like at par, but like a little bit above par, and I try to really put the videos so they stand out a little bit. I definitely have not uploaded as much as maybe I'd like to. It was actually kind of the same as in 1.8, where I really started to make videos and like actually cared. I've had a YouTube channel for well over a decade now, and I started with like literally like a GoPro camera pointing at my Wii U playing Mario, like doing stuff on that, and then it transitioned over. Not really transition. It was more like I took a long break and didn't really care about YouTube. And then suddenly I'm like, you know what? I'll start posting this trapping thing that I saw like Fruitberries do or something on 1.8 Minecraft, Hypixel UHC. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, right? And then I get a couple subs from that, probably like around 1K. And then I just kept going at it, and I kept getting the videos, a little bit better. I'm watching videos on how to actually make YouTube videos better, and I'm trying to use those things in my videos. And then I ended up getting like around 2,500 subscribers. I think that's where I stand right now. Definitely Hoplite's been the biggest factor in my YouTube growth right now. It's crazy.
No, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, thank you for the interview, and I wish you the best. All right.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah.